Turning to some news that has broken since we've been on the air. Axios reporting that former director of the FBI, Jim Comey, has been subpoenaed in a wide-ranging grand conspiracy case against the ex-officials who investigated and some who would go on to prosecute Donald Trump. That's according to two sources with knowledge of that situation. The subpoena for Jim Comey was reportedly issued last week and relates to his alleged role in the drafting of a January 2017 intelligence community assessment.
Welcome to the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. We have some great news, okay? James Comey is being subpoenaed. And yeah, I know you're probably like, whatever. He's been subpoenaed before. He's got out of it. He's his Democrat cohorts are going to get him out of it. Well, guess what, guys? That ain't going to happen this time, all right? Because you'd think, yeah, it'd still be in Virginia. You know, that's where it happened. No. Bondi and Trump done took this down to Florida. And we all know who resides in Florida. Okay, DeSantis and Donald, double D. And they're not going to be playing around. They have friends that they could put in place to make sure that this goes the way it needs to go. Okay? And I'm actually thinking that James Comey is going to be in prison soon. And I know the last time they really rushed it. You know, they had like the statute of limitations going on and they were just trying to rush it as fast as they could to try to get it done, and it just didn't work out. And it was like a dud firework, you know, but I think this firework's gonna be an explosion because they're weakened now. Hillary's not as powerful as she was. Obama's not. None of them are powerful anymore. Comey's not. None of them guys, okay? And I think they're gonna have hell to pay now that they are going to Florida. Because I could just see Donald and DeSantis just sitting there like, oh yeah, boys. Because you know what I'm saying? They're going to make an example of him. Donald doesn't do anything unless he makes an example of somebody. He makes somebody look dumb. He shows his superior intelligence. Same with DeSantis. And those two guys working together, man, that's like a dream team for Florida. I wish my state had that. But we're about to get Vivek, so let's just hope that happens. But anyways, guys, let's take a look, and ladies, I'm sorry. Let's take a look at this because this is funny. You can see the look of dread and fear in these MS Now hosts' face. They know that there's consequences now and they're going to be paid. You can see it. Just take a look.
I want to bring in New York Times Justice Department reporter Glenn Thrush. He's reported extensively on the Trump administration's retribution efforts, as well as the many years of investigations into Russian interference. Also joining us, former top DOJ official, general counsel, and former general counsel for the FBI, our legal analyst Andrew Weissman, who was many moons ago, many lifetimes ago, on the Mueller investigation, which was the post-2016 investigation into whether Donald Trump's campaign had any ties to Russia. This all sounds like
bro,
a
you
soap
having a
opera,
stroke?
and it sounds crazy, but I just want to put before both of you what we're learning today and what we had as background, and ask you to tell us what this means. Again, this is from Axios. Andrew Weissman, who's reporting former FBI Director Jim Comey has been subpoenaed in the wide-ranging conspiracy case against the ex-officials who investigated and prosecuted Trump. Tell me what this means. And we should make clear this is totally separate from the Trump administration's efforts to indict him in the Eastern District of Virginia. That was where Lindsay Halligan went in because the career officials wouldn't. This is a different investigation based in Florida with the perception, at least, of friendlier jurors and friendlier judges.
So there's substance to talk about and there's procedure to talk about.
L-O-T-D-W-E, but look at this guy.
It's a little bit odd because many people will remember that James Comey, if you're looking at him in connection with his purportedly trying to undermine Donald Trump's 2016 bid for the presidency, many people will be going, what are you talking about? They can remember the events of October, let alone in July of that year when Jim Comey did things that dramatically hurt Donald Trump's opponent, Hillary Clinton, both in July when he gave a press conference and denigrated her, and then when he announced in October that he was reopening the investigation. So that's the same person who, at least if the reporting is correct, is.
So what he's doing is just trying to use the excuse. James Comey was the FBI director. He's not stupid, okay? He's gonna leave crumbs to divert people, okay? Yeah, you can always go back to this and say he did that, but it did nothing. He did not. She wasn't convicted. He opened up a case on her emails and nothing happened. Guess what? Trump was convicted. You helped do that. You helped push everything, Comey. Don't act like this is the truth, okay? You did this because you're smart enough to know that you got to cover your tracks, okay? He's covering his tracks. And this ain't going to work in Florida, bro. This ain't going to work in Florida, my bro.
Supposed to be engaged in a conspiracy to undermine Donald Trump. There also, as you have reported over and over again, Nicole, there have been investigations into this by the Inspector General and by John Durham himself, and nothing was found. In fact, they cleared him of, and sort of the whole time period of any sort of wrongdoing
on Team Clinton and Team Obama.
Sort of intentional misconduct that was engaged in to
You think
hurt
Republicans
Donald Trump.
would have convicted Trump?
So that's sort of substantively. Procedurally, it's quite odd because even though this is apparently a very different investigation than the one in Virginia, remember the government is appealing the dismissal of the Comey indictment in Virginia, and so that is pending. And so you do not, under DOJ policy, or at least under DOJ policy up till today, you don't subpoena somebody who is actually you are targeting in a criminal case. He has every right in that situation to not only not be subpoenaed under DOJ policy, but he would have every right to assert the fifth.
Okay, what about Donald J. Trump, you fucking low-T fucking dweeb? Is there a double standard here? He didn't get that right, but Comey gets it? Imagine if there was a world war and there was 50 of these little dweebs coming at me. I think I could take my elbow and all 50 of them. Okay, if there was ever, I'm not saying I would, but I'm saying if there ever was, I could take 50 of these dweebs out. And he's terrified for that. Okay, I don't relate to people like this. Okay, the Democrats relate to people like this. I don't. I relate to men because I'm a man. I ain't afraid to be a man. Okay? I'm going to raise my kids, my grandkids to be men. These low-T dweebs, I'm telling you, bring it on, buddy. Bring it on. I'll be living in your house.
Amendment because the Department of Justice is trying to prosecute him and to get that case reinvigorated.
World War III,
very,
buddy.
Very odd.
It's coming.
I've never seen that where you subpoena somebody who is a target in maybe one.
He would be protecting his house with a dildo.
That sort of violates DOJ. Policy. There's also just a lot of issues about why it is in Florida, the statute of limitations having run, because we're talking about something in 2016 that it's going to be very hard to sort of bootstrap into being some sort of timely investigation. So there are lots of procedural issues as well as substantive issues here if this reporting is accurate.
Look at Comey's lips. He sucked a couple dicks or two. You can tell. You can just tell, bro.
We haven't confirmed.
He sucked a few dicks in his life, for sure.
Axios report.
That's probably why he's so sensitive about Trump being a man.
In the past, and what we've reported in the past, which is the issuance of a dozen subpoenas with regard to the investigation into that intelligence assessment.
Sounds very familiar, doesn't it?
The principal target of this is John Brennan, who is a former administration official, and the saga of this is quite remarkable in and of itself. The initial investigation was tasked to the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney in eastern Pennsylvania. As we have reported, it appears he wanted nothing to do with this. And Todd Blanche, Pam Bondi's number 2 at the Department of Justice, shipped this down to Jason Quinones, who is responsible for the investigation into the quote-unquote grand conspiracy. What is the grand conspiracy? Hard to say. It's a notion of Donald Trump. It's
Quinones ain't playing around, bro.
That there was a broad conspiracy by all these officials to destroy Donald Trump through various means, but it seems to have focused more squarely on this intelligence assessment and the use of the Steele dossier. Which
was completely fake,
very complicated, and also.
And Comey pushed it,
as Andrew said. The 5-year statute.
That's what you're going to be paying for, homie, not your diversions that you're lying about.
Again, apart from the fact that Eileen Cannon, the judge who essentially let Trump slide on
Mar-a-Lago
Miami documents, on the Mar-a-Lago documents case, it's her jurisdiction. It's impossible to figure out why it's down there. So the bottom line is, this seems to be a mashup of two of Donald Trump's obsessions.
I love it.
Putting Jim Comey in court in one way or the other, who he regards as an enemy, and investigating this very, very broad conspiracy that Trump sees as seeking to undermine him.
So, there you go. They all look so scared and just so salty. They're realizing that their party just doesn't have any power anymore. Obama don't have any power. Clinton don't have any power. Comey don't have any power. These are just people who Trump are just going to steamroll over, okay? 10 years ago, they were a problem. Now, they're not such a problem. And being that Trump has just been getting rid of so many of these left-wing radical judges, I think it just doesn't fare well for Comey. Comey's going down, guys. And with Brennan, this is about him, but they're throwing a net, okay? And when you cast a net, you're not just catching one fish. You're catching a bunch of them. You're catching all the fish that were involved with that. And just because they're going after Brennan doesn't mean that they're not going to get Comey. And I think they are, man. I think Comey's scared now, for real. I don't know. Is he going to be at the beach putting shells in there for some kind of message, because he thinks he's more intelligent than everyone and no one's going to figure out that. But I don't care, really. Anyways, guys, I'm so happy about this. I'm so happy about this. I want to see this happen. I want to see Jim Comey go to jail. I want to see Hillary Clinton go to jail. I want to see John Brennan, all them motherfuckers go to jail. I'm sick and tired of this shit. They got away with going after Trump for so long, and now they're crying because he's going after them. You got to fight fire with fire. It is not a double standard here, guys. This is the standard that y'all created, and now you're gonna have to actually suffer for it. Anyways. If you haven't liked, like. If you haven't commented, comment. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. All my videos are going to be bomb. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you. They're going to be good. Okay? So please subscribe. I'm trying to get up there so I can do this for a living one day. I don't know. I might not even be good to do this for a living, but I'm trying. I'm trying it. And I got some criticism on some things. Good criticism, though. And I'm going to use that and make my show better. Because y'all are the people I'm trying to entertain. I'm not trying to entertain myself. I'm entertaining y'all. And whatever you have to say, let me know. Say it in the comments. I will not be mad. I love constructive criticism, and I will use it. And I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.